The day I stopped being afraid. Tom was a quiet young man who lived in a small village near a beautiful forest. He worked in a little grocery shop in the center of the village. Tom was kind and hardworking, but there was one thing that everyone knew about him. He was afraid of almost everything. He was afraid of dogs, afraid of heights, and especially afraid of the dark. His friends often laughed at him, but Tom never told them how much his fear bothered him. He wanted to be brave, but he did not know how. One evening, Tom was walking home after work when he heard a loud sound coming from the forest. He stopped and looked around. The sound came again. It sounded like someone was crying for help. Tom became nervous. He wanted to run home, but then he heard a weak voice shouting, "Help me! Please, someone help me!" Tom looked toward the forest. It was getting dark, and the trees looked frightening. He knew that going into the forest alone was dangerous, but someone needed help. Tom quickly ran back to the village and told a few people what he had heard. They went to the forest with him, carrying flashlights. After walking for several minutes, they found an old man lying near a large tree. He had fallen while walking and had hurt his leg. He could not stand up. The villagers carefully helped him and carried him back to the village. The old man thanked everyone, but then he looked at Tom and said, "You were the first person who came to help me. You were brave." Tom smiled and said, "I was very afraid." The old man laughed gently and replied, "Being brave does not mean you have no fear. Being brave means you do the right thing even when you are afraid." Tom thought about those words all night. He realized that he had always believed brave people were people who never felt fear. Now he understood that this was not true. Everyone feels afraid sometimes. The difference is what we do when fear comes. A few weeks later, Tom saw a little boy standing near the river. The boy was crying because his small boat had moved into the water. Tom noticed that the river was deeper than usual. He felt afraid, but he remembered the old man's words. Instead of running away, Tom found a long stick and carefully pulled the boat back to the riverbank. The little boy stopped crying and smiled. After that day, Tom slowly changed. He was still afraid sometimes, but he no longer allowed fear to control his decisions. He started doing small things that made him nervous. He spoke to new people, walked outside at night with friends, and even climbed a small hill near his village. Every time he faced his fear, he became a little stronger. 1 year later, Tom became known as one of the most helpful people in the village. People still remembered the young man who was once afraid of everything, but Tom was no longer embarrassed about his past. He understood that courage was not something people were born with. Courage was something people built by taking small steps every day. Tom often told children in the village, "You do not have to be fearless to be brave. You only need to take one small step when you are afraid." And whenever he said those words, he remembered the evening when he walked into the dark forest to help a stranger. That was the day he discovered something important. Sometimes, the moment we face our greatest fear is the moment we discover our greatest strength. Moral of the story: do not wait until you are no longer afraid. Take the first step while you are afraid, and you may discover that you are much stronger than you thought. If you like the video, please like and subscribe to our channel.